Coal industries towered above the city like a glass and steel testament to power. Most people saw it as a dream workplace, the kind of company that polished resumes, opened international doors, and turned ambitious graduates into executives. But inside the walls of the topmost executive floor, the energy was different, colder, sharper, dignified and unyielding. Because that floor belonged to Adrian Cole. He was the kind of CEO whose name alone made meetings go silent. A man sculpted like a secret no one dared to question, dark suit, darker eyes, and a glacial air of calculation. Employees didn't gossip about him, they whispered, afraid the walls might hear. He didn't tolerate mistakes, or delays, or excuses. Perfection, that was the unspoken law. Most people avoided the CEO's floor entirely. But Liam Ward had no such luxury. He stood at the reception of the executive level, clutching the strap of his satchel with fingers he hoped didn't look as nervous as they felt. The polished marble reflected his shoes back at him, worn, but clean to a shine. He had dressed with all the care of someone who couldn't afford to get this wrong. Charcoal tie, crisp white shirt, sleeves tugged straight, his nerves tucked somewhere behind a polite, determined smile. The receptionist, a woman with immaculate makeup and heels that could probably cut glass, barely lifted her eyes. "Name?" she asked. "Liam Ward. I'm the new intern, reporting for the executive department." She scanned him briefly, a quiet assessment that said you don't look like you belong here, then nodded toward the hallway. "HR orientation is on the 27th floor. You're early for." "No," Liam said gently, "my file says I'm assigned directly to the CEO's office." Her hand stopped mid-motion. Her eyes lifted, startled. "To Mr. Cole," she blinked. "You're his intern." Liam nodded. "Yes." There was a pause, a thick one, the kind created by someone silently lighting a candle for his soul. "Good luck," she muttered. Liam swallowed. Not encouraging. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime, revealing a pristine hallway lined with frosted glass. Everything smelled expensive. Polished wood, coffee brewed from beans that had probably never seen a supermarket shelf, and the faint, elegant trace of leather and cologne. His steps were too soft on the carpet, his heartbeat too loud in his ears. At the far end, the large double doors of the CEO's office looked less like an entryway and more like a verdict. He lifted a hand and knocked. No answer. He hesitated, knocked again. This time, a cool, low voice cut through from inside. "Enter." Liam exhaled, and opened the door. The room was almost unsettling in how beautifully controlled it was, modern, minimal, spacious. Dark wood furniture, shelves curated with precision, floor-to-ceiling windows pouring daylight over a grand desk placed like a throne. Behind it sat Adrian Cole. The first impression was simple, power. Cold, quiet, absolute. He didn't look up immediately. One hand rested near a file, the other holding a pen poised with thought. His sleeves were rolled just a fraction, enough to reveal strong forearms against a navy shirt. When he did finally lift his eyes, they locked onto Liam with a kind of still, unreadable sharpness. Liam felt his breath hitch. Those eyes didn't look at him, they evaluated, measured, dissected. "You're early," Adrian said, voice calm but cool as winter glass. "Yes, sir." Liam kept his posture straight. "I wanted to be prepared." Adrian's gaze flickered. Not surprise, not approval, merely acknowledgement. "Name?" "Liam Ward." "Background?" Liam hesitated only a moment. "Business administration major. On scholarship. I completed 2 internships before this. One in a mid-tier firm and another." "None of those matter now," Adrian cut in smoothly. "Coal Industries is not a continuation of your past experience. It is your reset point. Whatever you were before, you are not that here." Liam swallowed, not out of fear this time, but understanding. "Yes, sir." Adrian leaned back slightly in his chair. "Why did you apply here?" Most candidates would have given a polished speech. Something about innovation, global reach, corporate exposure. Liam could have too, but he didn't. "Because I need this chance," he said honestly. "Not for status. Not for a line on my CV. I need a place I can grow, and prove I deserve to be here." The CEO didn't react visibly, but the faintest shift in his gaze suggested interest. "You're direct," Adrian said. "That will either serve you well or destroy you here." Liam forced himself to breathe. "Then I'll try to make sure it serves me well." A pause. Then, the smallest, subtlest thing. Adrian closed the file in front of him and leaned forward. "You begin now," he said. "Full-time placement evaluation in 8 weeks. You last that long, you're hired. You don't, then I'm out," Liam finished. Again that flicker of something, the hint of a smirk without ever reaching a smile. He stood, tall, controlled, magnetic in a way skyscrapers were built to resemble, strong enough to feel like gravity. "Follow me," Adrian said, moving past him. "Your desk is outside my office. You report only to me. You speak only when necessary. And you do not make mistakes." Liam followed. "I'll do my best." Adrian stopped walking, not abruptly, but decisively, and turned his head slightly. "Your best," he said softly, "is the minimum that will be tolerated." There it was, the warning every employee whispered about. But instead of shrinking, Liam straightened. "Yes, sir." Something unreadable settled in Adrian's expression, like curiosity restrained by discipline. He resumed walking. When they reached the intern desk, Adrian nodded toward it. "You'll shadow me for all executive-level tasks. You will observe before you speak. And you will earn trust before you assume you have it." Then his gaze lowered, just a fraction, studying Liam. His posture, his calmness, the quiet strength that should not have survived under that intensity. "Most interns last 3 days." Liam didn't flinch. "Then I'll be the exception." For the first time, not a smile, but the ghost of approval brushed Adrian's eyes. "We'll see," he murmured. And just like that, he turned and disappeared back into his office, leaving the door slightly open. Not closed, not rejecting, an invitation, cautiously granted. Liam exhaled slowly once the hallway was quiet. He'd survived the first 5 minutes. Now came everything else. And somewhere behind that glass door, Adrian Cole, a man the whole company feared, had already started paying attention. Not to his resume, not to his skills, but to him. Liam lasted exactly 18 minutes before the first test arrived. It began with a single sentence, delivered through the half-open door in Adrian's cool voice. "Bring the Vega contract to the conference room in 5 minutes. No direction, no guidance, no explanation, just a command." Liam rose from his desk, heart steady, steps quiet as he made his way to the CEO's personal filing shelves, a towering wall of labeled binders and locked drawers. Most interns would panic. Where is it? What division? What year? The Vega contract could have meant dozens of files. But Liam noticed something during his initial walk through. Small clues in the organization, patterns in how Adrian arranged information. Nothing about this room was random. He scanned quickly. Coal Industries Global Division, acquisitions, pending corporate alliances. There, Vega Partnership Proposal top shelf. Easily overlooked, unless someone paid attention. He didn't hesitate. He retrieved it and made his way to the conference room. Inside, Adrian stood at the head of the table, arms crossed, expression unreadable, a king surveying a battlefield. Liam placed the file down, aligning it perfectly with the edge of the table. Adrian's eyebrow lifted by 1 degree, not praise, but acknowledgement. "You found it faster than expected," he said. "I paid attention during orientation," Liam replied softly. "Most people don't," Adrian countered. "I'm not most people." A silence, thin, sharp, suspended. Something flickered in Adrian's gaze, something he didn't show his board members, executives, or even shareholders. Interest, yes, but more than that, evaluation warming into curiosity. "Sit," Adrian instructed, motioning to the chair beside him. Not across the table, beside. Interns didn't sit beside the CEO. They sat in corners, behind notepads, near doors. This was not coincidence. Liam sat. Adrian didn't look at him, not directly, but Liam could feel the weight of his presence, the way dominance didn't need volume or threat to exist. It was simply there, like gravity. "Tell me what you know about Vega," Adrian said, opening the first page of the file. Liam drew a quiet breath. They're a tech-forward investment firm expanding into renewable infrastructure. Smaller than us, but rapidly scaling. Their CEO wants a partnership to access our global supply chain. And what do they gain? Adrian asked. Legitimacy. Access. A shield. Partnering with coal industries makes them untouchable among competitors. And what do we gain? A future monopoly, Liam replied without missing a beat. Before they grow into a threat themselves. That made Adrian look at him fully. A long, assessing glance. No intern should have seen that so clearly, not this early, not without boardroom context. But Liam had. Adrian closed the file again. You read more than what's written, he said. I try to see what people don't say out loud, Liam answered. A pause. That will either be your greatest strength, or a reason someone tries to remove you. Liam felt the warning in the coolness of his voice, not because Adrian feared him, but because the corporate world devoured the perceptive. I'll survive, Liam said quietly. You'll have to, Adrian murmured. Later that afternoon, Liam typed silently at his desk, organizing minutes from an earlier call. The floor was quiet, too quiet, which meant employees were deliberately avoiding the CEO's vicinity. Occasionally, footsteps came near, then stopped short the moment they spotted Adrian's door. Fear traveled faster than sound inside this building. But curiosity traveled faster than fear. People had begun stealing glances at Liam. The new intern. He works outside the CEO's office. He hasn't cried yet. Someone even whispered to another. He won't last a week. Liam pretended not to hear. 3 hours in, the door opened again. Conference room. Now, Liam stood instantly. Inside, there was a set of documents spread across the table. Adrian was reviewing them with that same cool precision, gaze sharp enough to cut paper. These are quarterly projections from finance, he said. What do you see? Liam scanned the sheets for less than a minute. The numbers don't match investor briefing targets, he said. But not because of performance, because someone's tempering expectations. Adrian looked at him, expression unreadable. Why would someone temper expectations? He asked. So the board is pleasantly surprised later, Liam answered. It's a manipulation strategy, or someone is hiding a bigger play. That right there, made something shift subtly in Adrian's posture. He wasn't just listening now. He was considering him. You think like a strategist, Adrian said. I think like someone who's had to fight for opportunities before others notice them, Liam replied. Another pause. You don't belong at the intern level. I wasn't born in the executive tier either, Liam said, voice quiet but solid. Adrian's jaw tightened, not in anger, but in recognition. A man who had climbed from the bottom could recognize another climber. 6:40 p.m. Most interns would have gone home by now. But Liam stayed. He organized notes, drafted follow-up briefs, prepared tomorrow's calendar. The office was still. The city lights glowed through the glass. Adrian stepped out of his office again, jacket off now, sleeves still rolled, an aura of late evening power that looked effortless. You're still here, he said. I haven't finished for the day, Liam replied. You've finished what most interns would consider a day. I'm not most interns. That earned him a lingering look. A long one. Slow. Studying. Not cold. Not anymore, but controlled interest that sat heavy between them. You don't back down easily, Adrian said. I don't have the luxury of failing, Liam replied. A beat of silence. Then Adrian spoke, voice softer, lower. Good. That means I won't have to waste time shaping you into someone useful. This, from him, was the closest thing to a compliment. He turned to re-enter his office, but paused. No command this time, just one sentence left hanging in the air, before the glass door closed behind him. Lock up when you're done. That wasn't instruction, it was trust. Small, early, but real. And for someone like Adrian Cole, trust was never accidental. The second day at Coal Industries began before sunrise. By the time most interns were still checking bus schedules and grabbing rushed coffee, Liam was already inside the building, logging in, reviewing emails, and preparing Adrian's morning briefing. He didn't know when Adrian arrived. The man seemed almost woven into the walls, but by 7:05 a.m., the CEO's door opened. No greeting, no idle words, just a glance, one that paused half a second longer than yesterday. "You're early," Adrian said. "You said I report directly to you," Liam replied. "I intend to be ahead of your schedule, not chasing it." A faint nod, there and gone. Inside, Liam followed. Adrian sat, one leg crossed, posture carved from elegance and severity. Liam stood beside him, document tablet in hand. "Summarize," Adrian said. "The Vega negotiations," Liam began, "will turn volatile if we don't frame the deal as mutually essential. They want protection, but they'll only sign fast if they feel like they still have leverage. We let them think they're gaining more than us, while securing long-term control of distribution channels." Adrian's gaze didn't waver. "You didn't memorize the paperwork," he observed. "You understood it. I don't like doing things halfway." That earned the smallest flicker of satisfaction in Adrian's eyes. "Good," he murmured. "That means I won't have to correct you more than once." "Does everyone only get one chance?" Liam asked. Adrian's voice dropped a half octave, cool but weighted. "Everyone gets what they earn here. Nothing more." Liam held his posture, unshaken. "Then I'll earn it." The corner of Adrian's lip lifted, not a smile, but the ghost of one. "You're bold for someone, and proven." "I know," Liam replied softly. "That's how the proven start." Silence. Recognition. A standoff disguised as acknowledgement. Then Adrian rose. "Follow me." It wasn't a meeting, it was a storm in disguise. 4 senior executives sat around the long table, each with practiced smiles and sharp ambition. Liam, silent at Adrian's side, quickly read the room, polite voices masking rivalry, measured greetings hiding calculations. These weren't executives, they were predators in $1,000 suits. "Mr. Cole," one said, that particular boardroom smile on his lips, "we're concerned your push for the Vega deal is premature." Another chimed in, "There are other prospects with cleaner books and fewer risks. Perhaps waiting could secure a safer investment." Adrian stood at the head of the table, motionless, unreadable. "Safety is a word used by people destined to lose market relevance," he replied. The room faltered, just slightly. Adrian continued, voice smooth as still water. "By the time safe investments announce themselves, they belong to someone else. Vega is risk now but leverage later. The board is not here to follow comfort. It is here to establish control before competitors realize where control belongs." The executives shifted. One pushed again. "And if the gamble fails?" For the first time, Adrian's gaze sharpened. Not heated, not raised, cooler. "Cole Industries does not gamble," he said. "We calculate." Silence swept the table. No one argued again. But Liam felt the undercurrent. Tension, resistance, future sabotage waiting for a moment of weakness. The board didn't oppose the deal, they opposed Adrian's authority over it. And that made Liam understand something important. People didn't fear Adrian because he was cold. They feared him because he could not be manipulated. The meeting ended. Executives filed out, masks of courtesy slipping the moment the door shut. Adrian remained still for a moment, gaze fixed on the window. Liam didn't speak. Not until Adrian did. "You're thinking," Adrian said without turning. "I'm observing," Liam corrected gently. "What do you see?" "That they're not questioning Vega," Liam said. "They're questioning you. If the deal succeeds, you win influence they can't challenge. If it fails, they can blame you." Adrian finally turned, slowly, fully, to face him. "You read people too easily." "It comes from having to," Liam replied. Adrian stepped closer. Not intimate, not personal, but deliberate. "And what do you read in me?" he asked. The air shifted. Not like tension, like proximity. Liam didn't step back. "You don't let anyone see uncertainty. Even when you're calculating 20 steps ahead. You wear control like armor, not to intimidate them, but to ensure they never guess when you're vulnerable." A long silence followed. Not hostile. Weighted. Truthful. "Dangerous," Adrian said quietly. "For me?" Liam asked. For anyone who thinks they can read me. Adrian's eyes held his. And yet, you still do. I don't think I see all of you, Liam said. Just the cracks they never notice. Another silence, deeper this time. A threshold kind of silence. Then Adrian turned slightly, breaking eye contact first, not in defeat, but in decision. Come with me, he said. The elevator stopped at a restricted level, Adrian's private floor. No badge access except his. The doors opened into a quiet, luxuriously minimal space, private lounge, personal meeting area, skyline stretching like a horizon of glass. Most would have been overwhelmed. Liam simply absorbed it. Only executives have seen this floor, Adrian said. And interns? Liam asked. None, Adrian replied. Their eyes met again. Not a test, not exactly. More like an unspoken "you." Hanging in the air, Adrian walked to the window. You stood in a room full of people twice your rank and didn't shrink. I've spent my life having to stand when I wasn't expected to, Liam said softly. You don't fear hierarchy. I don't worship it. Adrian's shoulder tilted slightly, faint amusement, faint approval. You understand power better than most people your age, he said. Liam held his gaze steadily. I understand struggle, he replied. Power is just the language people use to hide they're afraid of losing something. That landed harder than Liam realized. For a moment Adrian said nothing, and the silence wasn't cold anymore. It was considering, measuring him in a different way. Not as an intern, not even as a subordinate. As someone dangerous in the most unexpected way. Someone he could not easily intimidate. Finally, Adrian spoke, lower voice, slower cadence. Most people fear me. I'm not most people, and you don't plan to become one. No, Liam said. I don't. A breath, quiet. Then Adrian turned his head fully toward him. You may last here longer than I thought. Liam didn't blink. I intend to. Adrian stepped closer. Not touching, but close enough that the space between them carried gravity of its own. You're playing a very risky game, Liam. Liam's voice dropped, steady, unshaken. So are you. For the first time, not ice, not warning, but interest that bordered on personal flickered in Adrian's expression. This was no longer just evaluation. This was the moment curiosity became focus. And Liam realized, Adrian wasn't just watching him anymore. He had started noticing him. By the third day, whispers in the company had changed tone. Not, who is the intern? But, why is the intern always with the CEO? Nobody said it aloud, but every pair of eyes that passed Liam in the hallway held the same question. What had he done to earn proximity Adrian Cole never granted anyone? He didn't have time to care. Because Adrian didn't slow down for him. If anything, he pushed harder. That morning had begun with a pile of investor briefs, contract revisions, and travel agendas. Liam shadowed him through 2 negotiations, an internal strategy call, and a briefing with legal, most of which interns weren't even allowed to observe, much less stand beside the CEO during. But Adrian allowed it, silently, deliberately, and not once did he treat Liam like a child who needed guiding. He treated him like someone capable of learning on the edge of a battlefield. They returned to the private floor around noon. Adrian loosened his tie slightly, not out of fatigue, but out of controlled calculation. You kept up, Adrian said quietly, not looking at him. I listened, Liam replied. Listening isn't understanding. No, Liam said, eyes steady, but I understood too. Adrian finally turned to face him. What did you understand? That the negotiation wasn't about Vega's value. It was about reading their CEO's ego. He wants to feel like he's dealing with someone who sees his future, not someone who merely wants to buy it. Another silence. Then Adrian said slowly, you see through people far too easily. I see motives, Liam corrected gently. Intent is the real currency in rooms like these. A flicker, rare, quiet approval in Adrian's eyes. You weren't trained for executive strategy, he said. So where did you learn this? Liam met his gaze head-on. From having to watch the world decide whether I was worth letting in. That made Adrian pause entirely. Not in coldness, in recognition. There, in that fraction of a moment, Something softened that he would never allow the board or the company to glimpse. Something almost human, almost vulnerable. Adrian normally ate alone. Everyone knew that. The CEO's time was too valuable, his privacy too guarded, his patience too thin for casual conversation. So when he said, "Stay," as Liam started to excuse himself for lunch, Liam froze slightly. He turned back. "Sir." Adrian was already looking at documents again, but his tone held no room for question. "You're not dismissed. Sit." Liam obeyed. A few minutes passed. The silence was comfortable in a strange, unfamiliar way. Not empty, but shared. Adrian spoke without looking up. Most people talk too much in order to feel relevant. Liam watched him quietly. "I don't speak to fill silence. That's why you don't irritate me." The words were simple, but they held weight. Liam blinked once. It was the first time Adrian said anything close to preference. Not tolerance. Not utility. Preference. A discreet knock interrupted. A staffer entered with a tray, Adrian's lunch. He placed it down and left quickly, gaze darting to Liam with a mix of confusion and speculation. Adrian signed a document, then, without looking up, nudged the tray slightly. 2 sets of cutlery, 2 plates. Liam hesitated. "This is for..." "Yes," Adrian said. "Eat." It wasn't phrased as generosity. It was phrased like inevitability. And yet, it was generosity, in Adrian's language. The CEO of coal industries had just chosen to share space. And time. And silence. That was intimacy in a place where privacy was synonymous with power. Liam picked up his fork slowly. "You don't treat me like an intern," he said. "I don't see you as one." The answer came so calmly, so directly, Liam almost forgot to breathe. Their eyes met across the table. Something unspoken ran through the space between them, unresolved but undeniably shifting the air. After lunch, Adrian returned to his desk. Liam reviewed reports beside him. At some point, their chairs pulled closer than strictly necessary. Neither commented, neither corrected. But the proximity felt different. Less professional, more aware. After a long moment, Adrian spoke, quieter than usual. "You're not intimidated by me. You expected I would be." "Everyone is," Adrian said softly. "Fear keeps distance. Distance keeps control." Liam held his gaze. "Are you afraid that if someone isn't afraid of you, you lose control?" Adrian didn't look away this time. "No, I'm afraid they might see too much." That was the first personal confession he had allowed to breathe in open air. Not polished, not controlled, not weaponized, just real. "Maybe being seen isn't a weakness," Liam said. "For most people, it is," Adrian replied. "Visibility is vulnerability. And for you, it depends on who is looking." Silence wrapped around the space again, not cold this time, but charged. Slowly, Adrian leaned back, studying him with a gaze that wasn't just analytical anymore. It was assessing in a different way now, personal, deliberate, dangerously close to interested. He spoke again, voice lower. "You are a complication I didn't anticipate, Liam. And you're a gravity I didn't intend to orbit," Liam said before he could stop himself. A subtle inhale, the smallest break in Adrian's composure. Not offense, recognition. Because Liam had just admitted something without meaning to. He was affected too. Not intimidated, not manipulated, affected. Adrian stood slowly, the move controlled but heavier than a simple shift in posture. He walked to the window, hands in his pockets, gazing out at the skyline. "You don't understand yet what it means to be close to me," he said quietly. "People try to leverage proximity, or claim it, or weaponize it." Liam rose too, but took only one step toward him. "I'm not here to take anything from you. And if I gave something?" Adrian asked without turning. Liam's heartbeat stilled. "Then I wouldn't exploit it," he said. Adrian finally looked back, over his shoulder, eyes unreadably deep. "What if what I give isn't professional?" Silence. Electric. Hanging like a line neither had intended to draw so soon, but now that it existed, neither could pretend not to see. Liam answered softly, firmly. "Then you wouldn't be giving it to an intern." Adrian held his gaze. And in that moment, Liam knew. The distance between power and vulnerability, between caution and desire, between walls and the first crack, had just begun to collapse. Adrian didn't say anything for a long time after that. His gaze stayed on Liam, unreadable, dark, intense. Liam felt small under that silence, like he'd accidentally crossed a line he didn't even know existed. "Do you always assume what people deserve?" Adrian finally said, voice low, "based on what you think of yourself?" Liam blinked, startled. I didn't mean. You did." Adrian's voice wasn't angry. It was something else, sharper, almost disappointed. He turned slightly, still seated against the desk, arms now loosely crossed, his expression unsettlingly calm. "People who believe they don't deserve things," Adrian continued, "usually sabotage the moment something good is offered to them. They never think about why they don't deserve it, they only panic that someone might see them." Liam went still. He hadn't thought the CEO of a multi-billion firm would see straight through him in less than 2 hours. Adrian paused, then asked quietly, "Tell me, Liam, which one are you, unprepared, or terrified of being seen?" Liam swallowed. "I'm just someone trying to hold on to what little he has left," he said honestly, not loud, not dramatic, just true. For a moment, something flickered in Adrian's eyes. The smallest hint of recognition, of understanding. Then it vanished, like it had never been there. "Sit," he said, nodding to the chair placed directly in front of him. Liam sat slowly, aware he was dangerously close to him now. Too close, almost. He could see the fine lines of Adrian's jaw, the slight hollow of his cheekbone, the faintest shadow of stubble. Adrian leaned forward just slightly. "Since you think you don't deserve this internship," he said calmly, "why did you apply?" Liam let out a breath. His voice came after a few seconds, quiet but steady. "Because I needed a chance. And this place, your firm, is the only one that doesn't ask for who you know, only what you can become." Adrian's gaze sharpened. Another pause. Then, "Who told you we don't ask for who you know?" Liam met his eyes. "No one. I watched you. Interviews. Seminars. You never recruit by pedigree. You recruit by potential." The room went still again, but this time, with a different kind of heaviness. Adrian wasn't expecting that answer. He shifted slightly, studying him like a puzzle piece he suddenly needed to understand. "What else do you know about me?" he asked quietly. Liam hesitated, then turned his eyes away for a second before answering. "You don't repeat compliments. You don't like noise. You don't smile in public because people mistake it for permission. You don't give second chances. And you notice everything, even when you pretend not to." Adrian didn't breathe for a moment. No one had ever described him so correctly. People feared him, respected him, rumored about him, but no one saw him, except this quiet intern with tired eyes and a spine made of quiet courage. The air thickened, heavy with something unspoken. Adrian's voice, when it came next, was lower. "You've been observing me." Liam's throat tightened. "Yes, sir." "Why?" Liam's answer was simple, honest. Because I want to learn from you." That was it. No flattery, no fear, no hidden agenda. For the first time in a long time, Adrian felt a reaction he wasn't prepared to control, a flicker of warmth that spread beneath his cold exterior, like something thawing. He turned his head slightly, his gaze lingering over Liam's face in a way that was no longer CEO to intern, but man to man. Soft, intent, searching. "You're not going to make this internship easy," Adrian murmured, not as a threat, but as a strange prediction. Liam looked up, confused. "Sir." Adrian's jaw tightened for a moment, like he was pushing away a thought he shouldn't have. "You'll report directly to me from now on." Liam's heart jumped. What? You heard me." His voice shifted back to businesslike, but the aftertaste of intimacy lingered. "You wanted to learn from me. So you will." He stood, towering over him again. "Welcome to Cole Enterprises, Liam Ward." A beat, just long enough to feel. "Do not make me regret this." Liam nodded, breath catching. "I won't, sir." Adrian turned to leave, but paused at the door. Without looking back, he spoke quietly. You said I don't give second chances. A long silence. He slightly turned his head. You haven't needed one. And then he walked out, leaving Liam in a room suddenly too small for his racing heartbeat. Chapter 1 Final segment. Closing scene. Liam stayed seated for several minutes after Adrian left. Not because he was asked to, but because his body simply wouldn't move. His chest was still tight with disbelief. Report directly to me, the CEO, not a team leader, him. It felt unreal, like someone had picked him up from one world and set him down in another without warning. He finally stood, gathering his nerves enough to step outside, and immediately felt eyes on him. People in the hallway were staring. Not subtly, not politely, staring like he'd done something impossible. Whispers followed. Is that the new intern? He was in the CEO's office for nearly half an hour. Did he mess up or something else? Why would Adrian cold call him? Liam lowered his head, gripping his folder tighter. He didn't want attention. He just wanted a chance. Someone shoulder brushed him deliberately as they passed, a junior analyst with an expensive watch and a smug look. Don't get comfortable, the guy muttered under his breath. People don't last long near him. Liam said nothing. He wasn't here to fight anyone. He was here to survive. When he reached the intern workspace later to unpack his things, he found a quiet corner desk. He began arranging files when a voice, soft and cautious, spoke beside him. Hi, a girl said. I'm Chloe, finance intern. She looked friendly, sympathetic even. You were with Mr. Cole, she whispered, half impressed, half afraid. Is it true you'll be reporting to him directly? Liam nodded slowly. Her eyes widened. Oh wow, people die for that opportunity. Liam gave a small breath of disbelief. Feels more like people want me dead for it already. Chloe gave a half laugh. You're not wrong. He appreciated her honesty. Before he could say more, her eyes darted past him and her posture straightened fast. Don't turn, she whispered. Just stay still. Liam frowned, but he didn't have to turn, he felt it. The air behind him changed. Went heavier, quieter. Adrian was back. He wasn't speaking, but he was standing behind him, close enough that Liam could sense his presence like a shadow. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't accidental. It was watching, making sure, possessing, but quietly. Chloe pretended to read a file, then subtly leaned to Liam again. That man never comes here, she whispered from the corner of her mouth. I've been here 3 weeks. I've never seen him step into intern space. Liam's pulse kicked. Then Adrian finally spoke. Not to the room, not to the interns. Just to him. Liam. The entire floor froze. His voice wasn't raised, but it carried like gravity itself. Liam stood instantly. Yes, sir. Adrian looked at him, unreadable, composed, but faintly sharper than before. You will relocate, he said. Sir. Your desk will be moved to the executive floor. Outside my office. The room collectively inhaled. No one in this company, not a single intern, had ever been seated next to the CEO's floor. Chloe stared like she couldn't believe she was witnessing history. Liam's voice was small. Right now. Yes. A pause. Follow me. He turned. Liam followed. And every pair of watching eyes knew one thing. This wasn't normal. This wasn't procedural. This was chosen. As Liam walked behind Adrian toward the private elevator, an intern whispered too loudly out of pure shock. What is he to the CEO? Adrian's hand paused on the elevator button for half a second. He had heard that. He didn't flinch. He didn't respond. But that slight pause. It was the first silent warning. The doors opened. Liam stepped inside with him. The doors closed. Only then did Adrian glance sideways. Just once. His voice low enough it wasn't meant for the world, only for the man beside him. From now on, he said quietly, you will stay where I can see you. Not a request. Not a suggestion. A claim. The first one.